What you're looking at right now is obviously a map of Australia. This is a map of the world, but what you're looking at is the continent of Australia. Australia also has an interesting thing about it. It's the only continent that is a country. So there's the continent of Australia, but there's also the country of Australia. It is completely below the equator. The entire continent is below the equator. There's only one other continent that is that way. It's Antarctica. So we can say that Australia is the only continent that has people on it that's completely below the equator. Now, does the nickname the land down under make more sense? Because what's it down under? The equator. And it's kind of at the bottom of the earth, really. Notice it's not really that far from Antarctica to Tasmania. Let's talk about where people live in Australia, okay? This is easy to spot. People live here, 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 and there are just a few cities over here. Can anybody tell me why?
Because if they live in the middle, there's nowhere they can get out.
No. Yes?
Didn't you tell us they made a living with catching the tuna?
Well, that's part of their living. Let me put it to you this way. If I had 3 tons of coal and I was trying to sell it, oh, by the way, there's deserts here. That's why this is all brown. Great big desert right in there. If I had 3 tons of coal and I'm here and I'm trying to sell it to somebody, let's say over here, and I can move it by train, or I can put 3 tons of coal on a boat and float it over to here and sell it to the New Zealanders, which one's going to be easier for me to do?
To the New Zealanders?
That's right. Because moving anything by water is much easier than moving anything over land. Think about it. If you let's just take the lightest person in here and pretend that we're going to throw them into a swimming pool. And they hold their breath and they're floating on top of the water and you give them a push. Would it take more effort to push them across the surface of the water? Let's just pretend they're not holding their breath. Let's pretend that they're on a raft. They're laying down on a raft and we push them across the water. Is that going to take more or less time or more or less effort than putting them on a raft and trying to drag them across the ground? Which one takes more effort? Drag them across the ground, obviously. So if you live on an ocean, it's easier to move stuff. So if you got resources to sell, and that's why 90% of the world lives on the coast, because it's easier to get your stuff out and away, and it's easier to receive stuff. It's just that simple. And press stop.
They're in panic mode over there. They can't get the movie to play, and I don't know how to do it.